Alrighty, friends, what do we have today? We have another bow review, the 2025 Mathews Lift X. A couple things new from the Mathews team. First, they have a new bonded grip that's available for this to purchase through your pro shop. They have a new Arc 7 limb technology. I think it's a limb coating technology. And then they have the LST or limb shift technology, which is Mathews' answer to the micro adjust tuning capability for the at-home tuner. Now, in defense of Mathews, I have not messed with the limb shift tuning, so I'm not going to offer any insight into it, other than to say I think Mathews did something with this that I've been asking for from all the manufacturers from the last few years that have been offering this limb, at-home tuning capability or pressless tuning capability. But if you look right here, hopefully you can see this. But there, if you look right there, there are reference lines on that mechanism to let you know where you're at, and there is a center line to let you let you know where your null position is or your zero position. So kudos to Mathews for that. Side note for the other manufacturers, could you please put torque specifications on all your these retaining bolts here, or the retaining bolts on your cams? Please provide us with a torque specification on this. So that would make tuning and putting bows back together a lot better. We'd be able to use torque wrenches, different tools to make sure that we don't over torque these small fasteners. So, all right. With that being said, the Mathews Lift X 33, good looking bow, very long riser, very sleek looking. It's the same bow with the new technology, so the new arc limbs, the new limb shift tuning, and the new bonded grip. Other than that, you still got the same exopods that you can buy for it. It's got the Switch X cam, and I know a lot of people don't like the Switch X cam, but I'll offer this. You can buy poundage changes in 10 pound increments or whatever. You can buy a poundage change without affecting the draw length. So whereas you may have to go buy limbs from another manufacturer, so if you wanted to take this bow from 60 to 80 pounds, I could just take this back to my dealer, get the 80-pound mods for my length, and it would be an 80-pound bow, and it'd be a lot cheaper than buying a set of limbs. It also doesn't affect your draw length, so I think I do like the mods in that sense. It has some disadvantages, to other systems where other cams I may be able to dial in a half or a quarter-inch increment draw length difference, where I can't do that with the Mathews without changing the module. But Mathews is, I think Mathews bases that off the efficiency they get from this cam system. So I'm a fan of that cam. I'm a fan of their grips. I like Mathews bows overall, and just like the Hoyts, they are top shelf as far as archery equipment. Fit and finish are tremendous. Here, this comes in 33 inches axle to axle or 29.5 inches axle to axle. By module, you can adjust from 26.5 to 31 inches. You can also do 55 to 80 pound draw lengths. It weighs 4.2 pounds, and that is remarkably light for this much bow. There is a ton of riser there, and it only weighs 4.26 pounds, I suppose is what they have it deemed as. And it's rated up to 343 feet per second with like a 6.5 inch brace height. So with that being said, it's a good looking bow. It's a good looking bow, so we'll get to shooting it, and I'll give you a breakdown of what I think of the actual draw cycle and all that. And it's it's gonna be the same as the Switch X last year, or the Switch from last year. But we'll go ahead and do it. For those of you that haven't didn't go mess with the Lift X, and now you're interested in the Mathews, I'll go ahead and do this just so you get an idea of what it feels like. All right, stay tuned. All right, so let's do a few shots out of this. This is the Lift X for Mathews. And you can feel right about there, it wants to get pretty stiff and then just hits the back wall. Just a tiny, tiny bit of jump. Not much at all. Do it again. Got a little bit of slack up front, and then it hits the draw force curve. It's pretty steep at first. and just falls into that back wall. And it holds great. I mean, it's I love the way it feels on the hold. I mean, it's super steady without any real weight added to it. They did a great job, and I said it's an aluminum bow, and you know, I shot the RX9, I've shot the Eon, and I mean, for an aluminum bow, it's pretty much right up there with the amount of jump and vibration you get out of it. It's a good bow. All right, friends, we're going to do 3 more shots for you. Then we'll do our final thoughts. Like I said, there's nothing on the back end of this. And the hold is just steady. It feels great on the hold. I'm doing the 33 instead of the 29.5 because I have an RX8 and I'm very happy with that at the 30-inch range. So I'm looking for something in the 33-inch range as my backup. And I mean, this is definitely one of those options. All right, friends. So final thoughts on the Mathews Lift X. So let's go over the quality of the bow first. Obviously, it's Mathews product, so it is top-notch quality. You know, and some of you critics are going to come out and, you know, you're going to probably hit the comments about the limbs, you know, them having limb issues last year, but Mathews was a stand-up company and they offer transferable limb warranties on all their lift bows. So I think it's beyond that issue now. I think Mathews stood by their product, and that's all you can ask from a manufacturer. So fit and finish looks absolutely outstanding. The draw is still a little bit stiff for my liking. It builds up at the front, which I do like, but it is noticeably stiffer than the previous cams that they had. But, you know, on the back end, it drops into the back wall nicely. This is the 85% mod, so imagine the 80% would have been even better. But the hold was absolutely fantastic. You're not fighting for balance of the bow or anything like that, and it just sits in your hand when it goes off. So can't ask for anything better than that. Post-shot experience, just a touch, a jump in it, and maybe a hint of vibration, which, you know, when you're talking about a touch of jump and a hint of vibration in modern bows, it's not anything compared to what you would have seen in the early 2000s. So it's a great bow. The grip is typical of the Mathews Engage grip. I like it. I know some people aren't a fan, so you might want to try the new bonded grips out. And they actually made that an affordable option. I think my dealer said they're going to go, you know, sub $65 or something. So next we're going to talk about the technology in the bow. So they introduced limb shift technology, which allows you to micro tune. And, you know, in their specific to them, they did make sure that the limb shift has reference lines on it, so you know how far you've moved. You have moved each limb. That's great when you're tuning for yourself, because now you don't have to find a separate measuring device. You look right on the bow and it tells you how far one limb, your top and bottom limb both are, for comparison. If you're not familiar with the Mathews bows, they have what they call bridge lock technology, so you don't have to screw a sight on like this. That you can is like a smaller dovetail that goes in here, and there's a set screw already that goes into the riser that comes on in the tag with the bow. And they have the dovetail integrated riser mount for your rest, which I do not have on here. They also do. They have the center mounted, you know, like standard stabilizer mount, but they also have a bridge lock version of the stabilizer that can make your front stabilizer telescopic, which is pretty neat. And then they have a rear stabilizer bushing, so you can mount your own V-bar, or you can use one of theirs, which it gives you a bridge lock stabilizer for the rear, which makes that also telescopic, which is pretty handy if you're trying to adjust the length that you want that mass away from your bow as a counterweight. So overall, I think this the Mathews Lift X, just like the Lift last year, both outstanding bows, and the Mathews fans are gonna love this thing again. I really like it. It's a great bow. So, I can't do these videos without Ryan and his support from Eastern Outfitters. If you're interested in the new Lift X or any of the other bows they offer, please go talk to them, because without them being ambassadors to the sport, there's no way I'm doing this. So, and he's a huge help. Anytime I'm running into tuning issues or I got questions about some of the new stuff coming out on these bows, me and him have time to sit down and talk. And, he does the same thing with any of his other customers. So big shout out, kudos to those guys over at Eastern Outfitters. And big kudos for Mathews and the Lift X. It's a nice little bow. I like it. I guess it's not little. It's 33 inches axle to axle. So, like I said, head on over to Eastern, test one of these out. As always, God bless, stay safe, shoot straight, and happy hunting.